Hello, everybody. My name is Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
Welcome back to the 18th episode of In a Wider Screen. We're legal now. Kind of. Not fully legal. I just realized there's like two legals. There's like an 18 and 21 legals. 18th episode of In a Wider Screen where?
Two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
Martha, which word is spelled wrong in every dictionary?
Which word is spelled wrong in every dictionary?
Yes.
Oh, wrong.
Why is that?
Because you're spelling the word wrong.
But aren't you spelling it right, too?
Well, yeah, but it's still the word wrong. You're spelling out the word wrong.
Can you spell it out for me?
No.
No? Figured. I think that was the hardest thing to ask you for than the actual
Yeah, you should have asked me that question instead.
Okay, well, you got it. So, all good. But, yes, welcome back. As you can see again, we're back on Zoom. I won't get into any main specifics, but it's obviously we're in a pandemic, and let's just say pandemic concerns happened this past week. So, everything's fine now, but we just wanted to take extra precautions this week. But next week we should be good to go there. But yeah,
Maybe.
Well, knowing us,
the end of the world might happen. So.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, maybe after today's episode, and based on the shirt you're wearing, that might symbolize it soon. All right. But yeah, how's your week been? Have you watched anything recently, or you just been busy again?
I've been pretty busy. Have I watched anything?
Do you tell me?
I'm super late, but I finally started watching Loki. I still have 2 episodes left, so no spoilers.
Okay.
But I really like it so far.
Cool.
It's really good.
Okay. I still have to start it. I'm actually very behind on Marvel shows because I still have not even started Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, it's so good. You need to watch it.
I know I'm behind. The only thing I know about is that Don Cheadle got an Emmy nomination.
Yeah, for being in there for
like 5 seconds, and I literally watched the scene, and he's like, okay, he's good in the scene, but he's just Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
I don't really know why he got nominated, but I thought it was. I was like, give it to him, whatever.
Make sense.
I mean, but yeah,
it's Don Cheadle,
Right. Actually, speaking of Don Cheadle, did you see the clip of him with Kevin Hart?
No.
It was so funny. Oh my god! So they were. I guess Kevin Hart has the show that he does where he brings on. I'm not really sure, but he had on Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle was talking about like, blah, blah, I'm 52 years old now. And Kevin Hart's like, damn. And he looked at him like, and they're just going like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. He'd be like, well, you meant it a bad way. You were like, damn. I was like, no, I was like, damn.
Oh, you know what? I do remember seeing people talking about it on Twitter. Like I saw like pictures from it, but I haven't actually.
You gotta watch the actual clip because it's annoying. A lot of people are like taking it seriously, like Kevin Hart was being rude, but clearly you can tell they're like joking with each other.
Joking around, yeah.
Like they're friends. And so I thought it was like the funniest thing. So anyway, Don Cheadle, king. We love him.
I love him.
But speaking of, Marvel, how did we get here? Marvel.
Shows I've seen.
Shows you've seen, Loki. Okay. So it's good. Oh, okay, nice. So that's pretty much all you've watched? Just a little bit of Loki?
That I can remember, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I saw a movie yesterday. It was Black Swan.
Oh. Yeah, we'll get into that.
I'm just dumb.
What have I watched? Oh, I did watch the new Suicide Squad on HBO Max.
How was that?
It was a lot of fun. Really sucks to see it doing as bad as it is in theaters. It dropped like 70% this weekend. And I say that as someone who didn't even go see it in theaters because poor. But no, it's really good. You definitely get like the James. You know how you get the kind of the James Gunn feel from Guardians of the Galaxy. You get the same thing here with Suicide, but I think I liked it more. It was different, definitely more violent.
Okay,
but still like kind of surprisingly heartfelt too.
Heartfelt and violent, my 2 favorite things.
It's the perfect combination. So he pulls it off.
Okay.
I did watch the Bo Burnham special, Inside on Netflix finally.
I was just talking about that with my friend. She was like, "You need to watch it," because
really?
I still haven't.
It? I feel like you'd love it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of hard watching someone go through a mental breakdown for an hour and a half, but he does it in a way with all his different musics, and the way he directs it with all the different things he does visually is just really cool. So I think you'll really like it. But I know you showed me Bo Burnham in high school. Honestly, I've never seen his specials until this one. I haven't seen his other ones. But I loved 8th grade, and so I was like, okay, I'm on his train now. And
ready to watch it. Yeah.
I think you'll love it though. I watched The Kissing Booth 3.
Oh, that came out. How could I forget?
You haven't seen it yet? Oh,
I haven't.
That's
No,
like the event film of the summer. What are you talking about?
Honestly, it's blockbuster of the year. Honestly,
I mean, when we're talking about great trilogies, I mean, you talk about Toy Story, Dark Knight. This got to be up there.
No.
I mean, it was terrible. It was just as bad as the other ones. Definitely kind of a guilty pleasure, like the way the other ones are, but still just really bad. But
so bad, but you can't stop watching it.
Oh, absolutely not. I cannot wait till we do our epic like Kissing Booth trilogy episode.
It is going to be so incredible.
I can't wait. Have you seen the first two?
I can't wait to shit on this movie and just...
Oh, I know. Have you seen the first two?
Oh, yeah. Of course I have. Come on now.
So how have you not seen 3? It's the epic conclusion. This is the end game. I was
very busy this week, and it completely slipped my mind that
it is under 2 hours this time around.
Oh, thank God. Why? Why did it have to be that long?
The fact that I even have to say that.
There was no reason. I felt like I was watching like 3 different movies with the last one.
Oh,
because there were so many things going on. Like there was 3 different plots to the movie.
Yeah.
So it it was just why?
Why? I can't tell you, to be honest. But there it is on Netflix. I rented this movie called Wrath of Man, which has Jason Statham in it. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Actually really cool. Kind of revenge story. That one was fun. And then The Princess Bride I finally watched. Have you seen that?
I have never actually seen that movie.
So good. I can't believe I waited this long to watch it. I mean, it's just like a fairy tale story, but I don't know. It's just like everything. It's just like it's a perfect fairy tale story. It's a classic. Yeah.
It's got to be classic for a reason. And I've always wanted to watch it. I've always meant to watch it, but I never did.
You got to.
I say this every week.
You do. I feel like
I've always wanted to watch that movie.
Part of why I like talking about this because I like telling you stuff I think you should watch, but I feel like you don't remember it after a while because I tell you new stuff every week, and you're
I'm gonna start writing them down.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to see it. We'll never watch it. But yeah, I watched some other things, but those were like the most noteworthy things for me this week. And of course, this week's movie, can't forget about that. This week we are talking about Black Swan. Caca! I don't think they make that. No, I just.
Okay. yeah. Okay.
Anyway, we're talking about Black Swan. This is directed by Darren Aronofsky. If you do not recognize the name, Martha, you're going to be very surprised very soon. So, some of the movies he's directed: Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, and The Wrestler. Before this came out. After this, he directed Noah and Mother.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
It makes sense now, huh?
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm assuming I'm speaking for both of us, where the only movies we've seen of his now are this and Mother.
Yes.
I haven't seen those other ones. I do want to, though. I really want to get into it. So the stars, Natalie Portman, Vincent Cassel, Mila Kunis, Barbara Hershey, and Winona Ryder for like 5 minutes.
I know.
But still, she's great.
What's the point of it?
I know,
I love her.
This released December 3rd, 2010. Made on a $13 million budget. Made $329 million worldwide. It's a huge profit. And this is an Academy Award success. This won for Best Actress for Natalie Portman. And it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director for Aronofsky, Best Cinematography, and Best Film Editing at... What year were these Oscars? I guess 2011. The 83rd Oscars.
Whatever
I was just wondering.
Is.
Yeah, that's a lot of Oscars. But yeah, very successful at the Oscars. This is very fun for me though because I've noticed every movie we've talked about prior to this one you had already seen.
Yep.
So this is the first one where this is blind for you.
Yeah, and here's the thing with it. It's like because it came out in 2010. So most likely I saw the trailer and thought, wow, this is cool. And then saw the R rating and it was like, I'm baby. I can't watch that. So I didn't watch it.
Right.
And I always meant to, and I always went into it like I always thought it was like a horror movie, and I always had that in my head. So I was a little bit like I was unsure going into it.
But yeah.
But I was super excited to watch it. Like I'd always wanted to watch it. I had never it had been so long since I'd seen the trailer for it that I completely forgot the entire premise of the movie. So I had really no clue what I was getting into. So it was very
interesting.
Fun.
So all you remembered was you remembered hearing about a movie called Black Swan that people like.
I remember hearing about a movie called Black Swan. I remember, and for some reason, I would often get it confused with the movie. I think it was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or something.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why, but I always got those two movies confused.
I mean,
maybe
I know
did they come out at the same time?
I think Girl with the Dragon Tattoo came out maybe the year after.
That might have been it.
I hadn't seen that one either, though. But
so I was really confused with what was going what I was going to get into. I wasn't. I mean,
very sure. Two dark looking movies, kind of brooding.
That might have been
around the
too.
same time. Sure.
Yeah,
I guess.
So I remembered that it had ballet in it, and I remember Natalie Portman was in it, and that it was about Black Swan.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's all I knew.
Okay.
So it was very exciting getting into it.
Yeah. Well, now that you actually seen it, what were your initial thoughts on Black Swan?
It was a roller coaster, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I got the best notes taking.
Oh, that's fine.
Because it's this is my first time watching it, so I was more focused on oh my god,
what's happening?
So what? Huh? Right. And so I was like, oh, I gotta write notes. A couple of these are kind of just my thoughts of just random things oh, mom's crazy. Oh, she crazy.
Yeah. No, dude, that's completely fine. That's what I expected. I mean, it's obviously unreasonable. Obviously, my notes are gonna be different yours coming from someone who's seen it. This is my second time watching it. This was the same thing for me. A movie that I had heard of for so many years and never got around to. And then sometimes what I'll do is when I'm thrifting, for clothes and I don't find any clothes, I'll want to look for something to buy. So I go to the movie section. So I got Black Swan at a Goodwill one time, and then I put it on, and it was literally your reaction right now.
Yeah,
I felt like I just got off Six Flags or something. It's a roller coaster. I mean, I felt the same way about it this time too. It's just I definitely feel like there's more to it that I understand. So I'm really curious about talking this with you. I guess I just want to know what kind of questions did you have about what happened. When you finish watching it.
I wrote questions. Don't worry.
Go for it.
I wrote a lot of questions. Well, it was more I was trying to connect the dots. I was just trying to figure out. So I was so does this mean this? Does this mean that? So, but I'll get into them as we go through the plot of the movie.
All right. Sounds
good. So, first, how many times have you actually seen this movie?
That was my second time.
Second time? Okay. Yeah, I definitely need. I want to watch it again. I definitely do because one, I feel I'm sure I missed something watching it this first time. So I think going back will definitely help.
Oh, for sure.
Take better notes, things like that.
I definitely think this does better jobs with metaphors and things like that than Mother.
Yeah, that just didn't make sense.
As much as I do appreciate Mother for what it is, and in some ways, but that was definitely a different experience.
Ambiguity to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just what the fuck am I watching? I don't know what's happening on the screen. I don't know the plot. I don't understand.
Yeah. What frustrated me though with Mother was then after when you start connecting the dots, you kind of figure out what the metaphors, what the allegory is rather quickly.
But even then, you don't. You're still left with well, did this mean that or did this actually mean that? You saw when afterwards watching the movie, you went to a bunch of theories. At least we did. And it was there were 12 different theories going on for each symbol.
That's true.
So
That's true.
There wasn't one specific thing. So I feel okay, again, ambiguity to a certain extent. Otherwise, the whole thing gets lost. And it's
Anyways,
why? What's the point?
I mean, but I remember too, literally that same weekend, he did an interview and he kind of just told what the allegory was. And I was just why release a movie and then just tell the audience the answers when you're supposed to be anyways. We're not talking about Mother today, but I just wanted to bring that up because I feel he does that much better here with Black Swan.
In this one, it is a lot better. It's a lot of metaphors, a lot of symbolism, but it works and it all makes sense. It all maybe I had a couple that was just I wasn't 100% sure that I was right on, but I still felt it's something. Yeah. Well, I'm close to it at least.
And the other thing I was really interested in watching this again was your perspective, because watching it, I mean, obviously you know this the first time you watch it, but like this really hits how much of a female story this is. So I guess I'm just wondering like how you as a woman like views this movie and this journey of this character, you know what I mean? Which we can get into.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
So
I was just curious.
Let's get started on.
All right.
Yeah. It's so we start off with like just like an opening like ballet scene where she's dancing and it's her
that
dream.
music already is like
ballet
heaven to my
is
ears.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's so incredible. But like I love that this movie is like it's beautiful, but also it's hell. Because like ballet is tough.
It definitely does not shy away from that. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I always wanted to be a ballerina.
Did you know?
Because you know my thing with like the tiptoes. So I learned how to walk different than other people. I don't know how to. I mean, I have taught myself.
Might be an understatement
since my
sure.
childhood. But okay, well, you know what? I'm working on it. But
That's all that
I
counts.
like walk on my tiptoes instead of like heel toe.
Right.
I don't know how to do that. So when growing up, I was like, I think I was like born to be a ballerina.
Because you thought it was your destiny at that point. Because you're like, what other reason would I be walking like this for?
Right? Like, what other reason would I be walking like that? Yeah. But my mom never put me in dance classes. She was like, you're too clumsy. Like, you're going to break every bone in your body.
Yeah.
And she was probably
right.
Not going to lie. I'm a very clumsy person.
I think she looked out for you with that one.
I'm not graceful at all. So that would not have ended well. I'm glad that I didn't get into that.
I kind of wish you would have, though, because that would have made for some really funny like home videos to look back on.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. If I'm sure Natalie Portman had to have learned ballet for this role. So like, impressive.
I think she did so much training for this thing, dude. I mean, she looks great. I know there were a few shots in this movie where she had doubles and stuff, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the dancing was her, like doing it, and she looked, definitely like a natural.
Yeah, she did a great job. So
especially because you have an important thing at the beginning where obviously she comes off in the movie very innocent, right? Like very kinda,
innocent,
like childlike,
very
honestly.
naive. Yes, exactly.
Childlike.
I was really confused as to like what her age was throughout this movie. I was not 100% sure.
Oh, she's like I'm just assuming she's in her 20s. The whole time.
But like when she first started like talking to her mom and stuff, like I thought, oh, okay, so she's like maybe like not even 20 yet. Like,
because of how like childlike she was acting?
Because of how childlike she was. So that's how I had seen it. And then like we get later to where like she goes to a bar and I was like, oh, so she's older? And so
you're like, she just turned 21 or what happened? Like
yeah, I was really, really confused. So
I think
so like she does a good job there. And like
I mean, this movie is definitely like when we talk about like how she transitions into a woman, it's definitely a mental transition, not physical.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like obviously she has that very soft-spoken voice. And then obviously like from the beginning, she's already like talking about how much she dreams about being like the Swan Queen, and like how much she like wants it so much. And then also wearing white and pink, pretty much like every scene in the beginning.
Yes, yeah.
And I actually saw that in her interview, she said besides all the training and dancing that she did to like for this movie, one of the hardest parts of the movie for her was actually nailing that childlike voice.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's really interesting.
I mean, it works out because I definitely like was looking at everything going on. Like even like her bedroom was like a little kid's room.
Yes, with the toy, the little stuffed animals everywhere.
The walls, and then her mom, the way she like cares for her, like she's a child needing to be like, comforted.
She's still she's like, mommy.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff, like and I mean, it's definitely partly the mom's fault for being.
Oh,
it's mostly the mom's fault actually.
Yeah.
For like doing that to her child.
Right.
She's very, very crazy.
And protective.
Crazy.
Yes, that's just
there's a difference between protective and crazy.
Crazy, psycho. Yeah, that's her mom.
So, because my mom's overprotective.
Sure.
But she also respects boundaries.
Okay, see. It's an important distinction we have to make. Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Very true.
So,
But what I love, how you mentioned, like, how well she looks dancing, it's just, like, the important part about her being, like, the White Swan characters, it's all technique for her. Like, the whole conflict is just that she never actually, like, lets go and...
perfect. She needs to be like very precise with every movement she makes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, to all the dancers out there, I'm not one, but
No, I'm not a one. No.
but like it's, you know, dancing is all about, you know, just like having fun, you know.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Let yourself
do that.
go to the rhythm.
Yeah. Let the beat take over. Yeah.
We sound like a Disney Channel movie.
I am a Disney Channel movie. What are you talking about?
That's very true. That's very true.
But yeah, so she has that trouble is really like letting go and like learning that perfection isn't about hitting every move. Like being perfect is about being imperfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's like trying to learn that, and
then she has that. So basically, the person that first tries to push her to get out of that is her teacher. Mm-hmm. He's a creep.
Thomas.
I thought his name was Thomas, and then they call him
Stop
Thomas.
it.
Well, he's French,
Thomas.
isn't he?
I don't care. It's Thomas. Okay, I'm calling him Thomas from here on out. I'm not calling him Thomas.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give him that credit because he's a creep and
he's a creep.
yeah.
Ugh.
Definitely.
Anyway, we'll get to that.
We'll get more into that, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say one little note that I noticed. Like there was like a lot of like handheld camera scenes that like I noticed. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That kind of like almost put me on edge a little bit, which just added to the drama.
Definitely a lot of the camera
like
work puts you on edge, especially a lot of the shots with her are very tight to her face. Like they're like framed like basically here. So it's kind of like, I mean, throughout, I'm sure like the whole movie, but especially in the beginning where she's kind of afraid to get out of her box. Like it definitely fits her mindset.
Definitely. Yeah. I think this might be the only, I wanted to get that out there because that's going to probably be the only note I have to like the directorial style of the movie.
The rest of the movie is just like plot. What the hell is happening?
It's just like, wait, what's happening? Wait, what?
Okay.
So this is going to be like my one and only note. The camera work was cool.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah. Oh, I love the way this is shot.
Yeah.
Speaking of the way it was shot, one of the notes I was going to make was one of the first times where she's practicing. This is before she gets the part. This is when they're like kind of trying to go through everyone. Like the way she's like spinning and trying to like lose control. Like the way the camera just keeps panning around, like all steady. It's just like, oh my god. Like she just cannot gain, I guess, that control. It's I don't know. It's like she needs to gain control of the role, but by losing her control.
By losing her. Yeah. It was very cool. I think I'm sure that every shot was like very intentional in how it was shot. Unfortunately, I couldn't really focus too much on that. There was already so much going on.
Oh no, 100%. There's a lot happening.
But I
here.
did notice that scene with the spinning, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah, dude. Then I was watching like there's a lot of scenes in this movie where they're like focusing on like stretching out their ankles and their feet, and then obviously like that one shot where she like spins and breaks her toenail or something.
Oh yeah.
I just like my ankles would be gone, my feet, toes, everything. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like right now, my knees are shot, but
when I was little and I wanted to be a ballerina, I thought the ballerinas were like this. They're like this.
They're
I
like
don't do
on
that.
their tippy toes.
I can't. No, that's not.
They're on their tips and their toes. Yeah, no way.
Ow. So glad that I didn't get into that because I would have broken my feet.
I would have loved
easily.
that. I honestly think you should have tried pursuing that in high school. I would have loved to be there for that.
Yeah. Definitely not. Oh, but I did just realize I did make one other note about like the directorial style of it. So it was that one scene where he like Thomas came in and was like he was like tapping the girls on the shoulder, picking the ones he wanted to take to the interview, or not interview, but what is it called?
No. The ones he tapped were the ones that weren't.
Were the ones that were dropped. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But there was that one scene. So he was talking. It was shot looking at the mirror, and you could see like there was like the split in the mirror. So he was like the white swan and the black swan, and it was like on both sides of the mirror. Which, like mirrors are obviously like a big symbol in this movie. So
literally like mirrors and reflections are like basically in every shot of this thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Which I mean, first obviously it makes sense because in a ballet studio, like you're dancing around mirrors, so you're constantly like studying yourself, reflecting like into yourself.
Yeah.
So I love how that comes into play more and more later, especially as she's like moving towards being
going a little cray-cray. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Definitely makes sense. Oh, another thing about the whole innocence thing was that Swan Lake box, like you were saying. like that toy, like that what do they call those?
The music box.
The music box, yes.
Yeah.
How she was playing it to her to go to sleep. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's just like, okay, this girl's like a child right now, and like obviously her mom is like not really, like you're saying, helping this situation at all. So
Yeah.
Right now she's established to be basically like a childlike person. Then the teacher shows. Well, first then she shows up to her teacher's office, like trying to deserve the part, like trying to argue why she deserves the part, and you can clearly tell, like, he, as a teacher, like as someone who knows ballet, like he knows his shit, but it's just his methods, like we were saying about like trying to like being sexually abusive, honestly, mentally abusive to these women, like him kissing her and then him like her biting his lip in like self-defense, and somehow that was the way that she was able to get the role, like because she finally like showed a way to, I don't know, defend herself.
I guess that was her way of like, or I guess to him, that was her showing like she does have the ability to be a bit, I guess, I don't want to say like rough, I guess dark.
Yeah, dark.
Maybe.
Right? Yeah.
Is the word for that.
I would say that.
But although that's how he takes it, that's not the intent.
Yeah.
From her side, that was obviously self-defense. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
So,
which, yeah. There's just
not a fan of Thomas. So.
No, not at all. I don't know if you've seen Whiplash. I've talked about it before. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah.
And I realized after watching this, I just love movies where it's just about how far someone is willing to let themselves go to their art, especially with the teacher figure that like uses let's just say questionable methods to push them. And definitely similar things here. So I loved that. But he's definitely, I mean, I think both movies are shown to be an asshole, but I think in this one it's very clear, like, okay, what he's doing is like fucking wrong. Like 100%.
Like definitely wrong. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention. So she gets home because she has the part now. She gets home, and her mom has that cake for her to celebrate.
Yeah. And this is when we see mommy go a little too crazy.
A little nuts. So she's like, you want a piece? She's like, oh, not a big one. Like, blah, blah, blah. Her mom gives her a big piece. She's like, no, I told you not that big. Okay, you know what? You don't want the cake? Fine. About to
it's
throw
garbage.
the damn thing away.
I know, and it was so pretty, and I wanted to eat it.
Dude, does anyone in your family do that? Like not exactly that, but do they overreact if, like, you don't want something to eat, or you don't want a large portion, or you don't want to get seconds? Because that has happened in my family. Well,
my mom always liked to tell us growing up, she's like, if you don't eat your food now, then that's it. You're not going to eat ever again.
Oh, okay.
She's like, this is all you're going to eat for today. So if you don't eat it now, you're done.
That makes sense.
But she would yell at us in Spanish, and we'd be like, okay, we got to eat.
Oh, yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So she would always tell us that. So, but that's about it. Like it wouldn't be anything like that crazy,
okay.
You know?
Well, nothing was crazy in my family, but when I go see my family in Puerto Rico, they're very like, they want you to enjoy the food. So let's say I love the food, but I don't want to overeat, so I don't get seconds. They're like, you didn't like it? I'm like, no, It was great. I just don't want to eat a ton of food, and it's just.
Food is very much like a love language in Latino families.
Definitely.
So food is a big thing. My mom especially, she shows her love with food. She cooks for an army because she's like, we never know who's going to show up for food. So she makes so much food, and she makes sure, like, if you, like, my brother-in-law, when she first met him, she was like, I like this guy. He knows how to eat.
Oh, God.
So like, if you can eat a lot of food, my mom's going to love you.
Okay. Interesting.
So food is like a big thing. But nothing crazy like that.
I guess it's a big thing for her mom, too, because she was about to throw that cake away. Garbage.
Apparently.
Yeah. Then we are introduced to Mila Kunis. I hope she showered for this movie. I'm just kidding. Did you actually, I think her and Ashton Kutcher put out a video recently, like,
where he was like, what are you doing? You're trying to harm our children? She's like, we're bathing them.
Even though, like, it's shown to be not true, I still like making the joke that they don't shower.
It's just funny.
You definitely can see her coming along and being like another source of inspiration, I guess, for Nina to like express herself more as the Black Swan.
Yeah.
When she comes, like, she's very much that dark person that's going to come into the picture.
But like not even so like she's just the complete opposite of her. Like she's free spirited. She's a lot darker. She's
rebellious.
You know, she's not. Yeah. She doesn't make sure every move is perfect. Like everything like that. Everything about her is just the complete opposite. So it's interesting to see this character because like throughout the movie, she sees her as like her like her dark self is how she sees her.
Basically, yeah.
You know, so to the point where she like hallucinates seeing herself, like her face on her body.
Yeah, so, basically. Right.
So she's like this, I guess the foil, I guess you could say for her. Yeah. So it's interesting to see her character for sure.
It's very true. And then I guess what did you think about Winona Ryder's character? We mentioned that she's barely in the movie, but I think her character is important to an extent.
Oh. Obviously the character is important. I love her. She's incredible.
Oh, she's great. Yeah.
Queen. But no, I think the character was really interesting because it definitely shows like, how do I put this? Okay, so it shows like the cutthroat world of really any entertainment business, like any business. Like, really? Obviously, it's just, you know, there's an issue with like
we're seeing it through the ballet lens this time, but yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah.
But it's everywhere. But yeah, so I think it's interesting to show one that little note, but then two, I think she shows her like, okay, so you replaced her, and now you want to be just like her. Well, now this girl's trying to replace you, and so like she kind of, I guess, adds like another layer to that story of like being replaced, and like that's a big issue with like the girls' egos and stuff. Yeah, well, I guess not with the ego, but like it's I think ego you're for sure. An incredible dancer. Of course, you're gonna have. And now
you're just kind of put on the back burner, being replaced by this fresh new face.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting element to the story. Yeah, seeing that replacement.
And then I think I saw it too. It's just like if Nina probably continues down this path to be like the Black Swan, be the star. I mean, eventually she'll probably just end up like Beth. Yeah. Like, and somebody will just come down to replace her down the road. And now you can see Beth retiring. Like she can't handle it. Like, like she's all drunk at the party. Like she ends up in the hospital where it's never said or not that she's like there on, like, did she do that to herself or not? We don't know, but it's pretty much implied that it's what happened. Because they were like, she's in the hospital, and they were like, oh, she got hit by a car. Like, it seems like...
Oh, okay.
She's like, she jumped in front. Like, seems like she might have jumped in front of the car or something.
Yeah, he said...
So it's never said, but it would make sense, I guess, with, like, if she's having... Basically, I mean, she's not... Obviously, you can tell she's not retiring on her own will. Like, she's basically being forced out. So you would imagine that she's having a tough time mentally grappling with that.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Also, I think another, like, layer to the story is that it's like, so the movie Black Swan is mirroring, or I guess like it's telling the story of Black Swan through Black Swan.
You mean Swan Lake?
I mean, yeah, Swan Lake is what I meant. So like it's interesting to see how because it's like Nina is going through the story of Swan Lake
as she's performing going through the story, wearing Swan Lake.
it's very meta is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So and I think, like, you know, at the end of the story of Swan Lake, she kills herself. So, you know, maybe it really was that Beth's character, like after they chose the other Swan, she tried to kill herself.
Yeah. Maybe she's like finishing her own version of Swan Lake.
Of her own story.
Within Nina's Swan Lake. While she's doing Swan Lake. You know.
So maybe it's just like meta beyond belief.
Maybe.
So I don't know. Right. That's, you know, that could be an explanation for that.
For sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
Then she's trying to, you know, kind of, I guess, experiment more with her body. And then she's like actually like starting to lose control a little bit, and then her mom's just sitting there asleep.
Yeah.
I was like,
creepy.
Obviously, and then this goes back to like you're saying. I mean, it really is the mom that's like really holding her back from like losing that innocence and the control.
Yes.
That's necessary for her to grow as a woman.
She grows
Really?
a woman, grows a dancer. Her
Yeah.
mom's really putting the block on her, so it's
Yeah.
yeah, because she a little cray cray, a
Definitely.
little cray cray. So
Definitely.
so that's awkward. But but yeah, so
Don't find yourself in
We-
this situation, kids.
yeah, definitely. So let's go on to the scene where we finally start seeing some real betrayal from Lucy, I believe was the character's name.
Lily.
Lily. I knew it was
Mila
with an L.
Kunis?
Yes.
Yeah, Lily.
Lily. Lily.
Close.
I don't know why I
Close.
thought it was Lucy. I don't know.
It's
It
all
was
good.
with an L. I was close enough. So, betrayal. Even worse, lesbian betrayal.
Oh, man. Mm-mm. So there's a
So
lot.
we see that.
Yeah, that happens in these next couple sequences. She's starting to wear gray. As you can see, she's not
Yes.
really wearing white anymore. So we're kind
start
of in
seeing more
the
of the
middle now. We're kind of that
transition.
transition phase. You know what I mean? And the way I kind of looked at it throughout these next couple sequences is, in terms of her being a woman, this is kind of like her teenage years, like her years of
Her
self-exploration,
rebellious,
rebellious
like-
phase, exploration
Yeah,
phase,
yeah.
experimental phase. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly that.
Definitely all that. I mean, you really see that too with the way she's actually like starting to speak out more and like standing up for herself. Like you can really see it more in her actions and how she communicates with people. So then she ends up at the bar. First of all, I did not know Sebastian Stan was in this movie.
I know. I
did
saw
not
him and I
catch
was
that
like,
the
oh
first
my god, he's so Wiener
never,
soldier.
never caught that. And of course, it's going to be Lily wearing all black like she does the whole movie.
Yes.
That it breaks her out of her shell and really pushes her more towards
Yep.
the Black Swan.
To
And
the
they end up
Black
at that
Swan.
nightclub scene. First she put the. Oh, go ahead. What's up?
I was gonna say something about that one like little sequence with like the rave part where it's like
Yeah, okay.
the flashing light. I don't know if maybe I was like seeing something I wanted to see, but I could have sworn I saw like one of them was like a scene of like a pair of eyes, but like the figure was almost like devil like. Did that pop up, or am I going crazy?
I don't know if I saw that. I mean, there was like so many different.
Because there was a lot of flashing going on.
Yeah.
So if that was like actually happening, that'd be like, ooh, because that kind of creeped me out a bit. I was like,
doubt
oh,
that that's not. I don't doubt that that's there. I don't think I caught it,
yeah.
but I mean,
I'll watch it again then, because like
yeah,
I think
I'll
I saw
definitely
it,
wanna
but
see.
which I was like,
Whether we
okay.
see the devil or not, I think he's definitely he has a presence in that club.
oh,
For
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yo, but I love that scene with all the different editing and different lights and everything. I mean, it looked crazy.
Yeah.
But it was so cool
It was
looking.
crazy. Yeah, it was very cool. Definitely like that.
Then she
But
comes
yeah, it
home.
was-
And like basically, yeah, the way she talks to her mom is like a teenager, which makes sense now that she's in that phase. And then we talk about, lesbian scene. Which what
Lesbian
crazy
betrayal.
was what's crazy was a lot of people when this movie came out didn't even really talk about the movie itself. They were just like, "Oh my god, did you see that scene?" Like
Oh.
so stupidly. Like they just
well, it was 2010.
yeah. I mean,
So,
okay, we say that, but to be
unfortunately.
fair, if this came out today, I think it'd be the same thing.
It'd still be the same thing
In the
honestly,
mainstream
yeah.
at least. Not with I
Oh,
don't think
for
with
sure.
film fans, no, but like in the mainstream, like, oh, we're just gonna watch this
Mm-hmm.
movie just because they make out and stuff.
Yeah,
But in the context of the movie, I actually really like the scene. Like, but I mean,
yeah, no, I think it's
Yeah.
a really good because it almost feels like if how do I okay I'm having trouble putting things into words. But,
no, it's all good, all good.
Well, what I'm seeing is like when it's all happening. So obviously she's getting like flashes of like it's Mila Kunis, but then it's back to Natalie Portman, and like their faces kind of like keep meshing together while it's happening. And like at first she's sort of scared, and then she kind of is like accepting it and is like, I'm not going to question it. And it like almost feels like this is just like like a more definite step towards like becoming like that Black
yeah.
Swan.
Especially
You
like
know?
being more like sexually like open and comfortable, I guess, with herself is a huge part of like her transition into being a woman. I would say.
Yeah.
So, no, that definitely makes sense. Also, quick note: she got mad at her mom the next morning about not waking her up, To defend her mom for a second, I mean, you now want to be an adult, so it's kind of not her job anymore to wake you up.
Yeah.
If I got one good thing to say about the mom, if one thing to defend the mom with, that's all I gotta say. Because honestly, I've gotten mad about that before. Like, and it's like, okay, well, honestly, it's not anyone's job but yours to wake up on time.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So mom is going through it at that point. She's like, what am I doing? But so she shows up to work the next day to practice, and she sees that Lily has stepped in for her part for practice
because she was late.
And then things are starting to click for her. Like, she took me out, she drugged me, made sure that I wouldn't be to work on time, and now she's taking my part. So she's starting to click for her. She's trying to take my role. Like, that's what's happening here. She's out to get me.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is where we really see her, like, start
going,
like, things
nuts.
are starting to get a little nuts, a little nutty.
Because then nutty, so after talking to Lily, she realizes Lily never stayed over.
Yeah.
It was all just a fantasy, I guess, that she had in her head.
Yeah. Those are the parts that confuse me. I'm like, I'm trying to pick up on, like, what is real and what is her just going nuts.
Yeah.
So like, this is where, because this is at the point in the movie where things are, like, now really, like, off the wall. Like,
at this point, yes, for sure.
Crazy.
You get little moments of this, like, throughout. You get little moments of like that throughout when she's like, but especially now that she's like in the gray and going more towards the black Swan, like, you're really seeing it, like, pretty much like every scene there's some kind of like horror element going on to really show how off the rails everything is.
Yeah. So this is getting a little bit crazy, but and then from there, I'm trying to remember. Is that when she goes to see Beth? Immediately after that? Because, like, she's starting to connect.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
So she goes to her room. She breaks that Swan Lake music box and like takes all her stuffed animals out. Basically, like, she's throwing her innocence.
Yes.
All that's gone out of there.
Down the garbage chute.
And then something I noticed too was obviously like a lot of what you're seeing with the horror elements is her like scratching her back. And then we haven't even
talked about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like horror elements that we haven't really got into. But what did you think about that? Like her scratching herself and like.
I think that it adds one to like the mama's crazy because like we see at first. Also, why would you cut with scissors? Why would you cut your nails with scissors?
Because I noticed that. I was like,
that's gonna be more jagged than a regular nail clipper. We had
nail clippers in 2010. This is not some new technology. What's
happening?
The deal?
What is the purpose of that?
I was like, she's gonna cut her finger off. So that mom's crazy.
And then she does.
Yeah.
So that is an issue I have with that.
That's very true. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, like the whole like scratching her back. That was another part where I wasn't sure at first. I was like, okay, is this like in her mind or is this like a real thing that's happening? And then the whole mom situation, I was like, okay, so it is a real thing that's happening.
It's like a real thing, but maybe it's not as.
But it's not okay. So it's a real thing in that she's scratching herself, but she is seeing it in a different way. She's not seeing that she's scratching herself because obviously subconsciously.
I mean, eventually she sees that feathers are coming out of it.
Yeah, and then she starts imagining that she's actually turning into a swan.
Black swan. So yeah. So I thought that whole thing was really interesting. And then there's a shot where she's wearing like white, gray, and black at the same time. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was interesting. There's a lot of shots where she's just wearing just one color at a time, but then there was a few where she was like all the different colors.
Yes.
I was like, damn, she was just probably just confused about herself and her identity at this point.
And trying to figure all that out. Yeah, definitely. But
and then this is where I kind of started. I mean, I noticed the reflections throughout the whole movie, but I really started thinking about like what the idea of all these reflections and mirrors in the movie, like what that represented. Especially also there were shots where the lights would just shut off and she'd be in darkness. You know what I mean? I guess I still haven't really connected what that might mean. And I mean, in a way, I guess it kind of connects.
No, I know what you mean. I think those were a lot of the parts where it was like, if I'm not right, I know I'm close to it.
Yeah.
In that it's like, this is her seeing, like, everyone has like this light and darkness to them. Like it's just like part of being a human.
Yeah, very
you know,
true.
you
Yeah.
have good in you, but you also have bad in you. Everyone has the potential to be good and bad. And I think in her case, she's only ever lived a life of good, of like being good, being innocent and sweet. And then you have this dark version of her, which is portrayed through Lily. and then from there, so she starts seeing herself, like her dark self, through Lily. And eventually that dark self
Yeah.
becomes one with her light self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think with the mirror, it's all about that like split between who she is and this other version of herself.
I think like you're saying, I think with the mirror is like, when you look into a reflection of yourself or a mirror of yourself, I feel like you're confronted with your true self. And I feel like this whole time, like you're saying, she's been this light self, when in reality, I mean, she's like this dark.
She has this darkness
dark
in
side
her
of
that
her.
she didn't realize.
Yeah.
And again, she's putting it out onto Lily, but then it turns out it's not Lily.
I mean, she's
it's
really
her.
Yeah, she projects this dark side onto her teacher, like Thomas, her mom. Like, yeah, Lily, when really that black swan is in her this entire time.
It's always been in her.
And we all, like you're saying, we all have like, I mean, we really all have our own black swan inside of it. It was just her that needed to break that out herself and recognize that it's in herself.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah. So that's definitely interesting. The mirror. Look at us.
Yes. Look,
so
come
smart.
on, man. We go from talking about B movies
We're completely
to like,
off. Like it's not right at all.
like, yeah. We look up an Aronofsky interview. He's like the complete opposite theory.
All
Like, you know, we were close. Now she goes to see Beth in the hospital.
Yes.
I was about to ask why she would give her back the knife, and then she starts stabbing herself.
It's not a knife. It's a
whatever
nail
it
filer.
was.
I actually
Oh.
have the exact same one. Funny enough, it's like made of like diamond. It's actually it's really great for your
A little
nails.
concerning. Hope you're using it for your nails.
Yeah, totally.
Anyways, she starts doing that. Not the best CGI in the world, but still, you know, it was a creepy scene.
Still creepy. Yeah, definitely.
Even though, like, I mean, so did she actually? I'm wondering, did Beth kill herself in that moment, or like, I don't.
That
know.
was my question. I was like, so did Beth kill herself, or did she kill her?
I don't think. I feel like she just, or did nothing happen?
Or did nothing happen? Yeah. See, these are the scenes where I'm like, I'm confused as to like if this was her hallucinating or if this actually happened.
Because personally,
it's
I don't think she kills anyone throughout this entire movie.
No, because there's another scene where she thinks that she's killed someone, but she really hasn't.
And
we'll get to that. But yeah, so that's kind of so like again, it was like creepy.
I don't know. That was definitely just creepy.
Yeah, because the reason she goes to her is to ask. It's like the same thing that I did to you is happening to me now. Someone's trying to replace
I get
me.
it.
How did you stop it? And she's like, well, I didn't because now I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's going through it. Like she can't dance ever again because of her legs got completely smashed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, when they show like her legs, like what happened, I was like,
oh, that was ugh.
Not look good.
Yeah. So,
and then you definitely get a lot more and more and more of that horror imagery. Those like paintings yelling at her like eyes turning red, the feathers like poking out her back. Literally like started like fighting her mom. And like her legs snapping, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like so much of the horror is just like all like coming together.
Is really coming there. Yeah. I was like, I knew it was a horror. so like the
you did
first
remember
part,
that.
I was like, I thought it was like kind of disappointed, but then it started coming out in the end, and it was like, oh, I am here for this. Like,
I think it's horror in a way you thought it was different. It's definitely psychological horror.
Yes, that's exactly it. So I still love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then,
but yes.
Her mom, she wakes up in the morning, and then her mom's like, "No, you're not leaving. Like, she's gonna trap her in there." And she's like, "I'm the Swan Queen."
I know her mom is crazy, but in this instance, she's crazier. Therefore, her mom is right. She should not be going to that show.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I kind of wanted her to go because she's the Swan Queen.
I mean, obviously we wanted her to go, but should she have?
Should she have
No.
No, that's debatable.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So
But then
she goes
she
to the show.
makes it out. Yeah.
Makes it out, yeah, and gets to the show. She's, Lily is obviously like trying to take her part, so she's like, "You weren't supposed to be here. You're supposed to be sick."
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so she's like, "No."
No,
and she's
I'm
like,
here.
"I'm here now,
Yeah.
and I am the Swan Queen."
Right.
So, yeah, so things get really crazy at the show.
Yeah. I will say though, I mean, the ballet show sequences are all shot like, they're gorgeous.
Beautifully.
Like not just with the lighting, but the way like the camera moves around the dancers. It's just kind of like,
Yes.
you know how elegant the dancers are. It's kind of like the camera moves with that same kind of elegance.
Same elegance. Absolutely. I thought it was just so beautifully done. It was, oh, that was great. Yeah. And again, you finally, she starts that like straight flip, like where she struggled throughout the whole movie with becoming that black swan on stage, and now she is literally like completely transformed into the black swan.
Yeah, that's gone.
And so she has no struggle with it. Like even the guy she's dancing with, it was like, wow, like bravo, like you did a good job. And she's like, I know I did.
Mm-hmm.
So
only time was that one time where she, I think she was still as a white swan. She was like, I don't know, she wasn't focusing on what was happening. And then she got dropped.
And then she got dropped, yeah.
Yeah.
But then she came back as the black, and maybe that was like their version of saying like she now doesn't even know how to like properly be in the white swan role
because she's so much over
into the black swan.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something there. Maybe. I don't know. So, but yeah, so she goes and she's like feeling herself. She's like, yeah, I did that. And she goes over to kiss Thomas and she's like, well, now I'm seducing you. So.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, why would you kiss him? But
I know, he's a creep. So.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Actually, this was
we completely skipped over
in a very important scene.
Yeah.
So she's in her dressing room, and she sees Lily sitting there.
And this is before she gets into her black swan role.
Yeah. This is after the white swan part of the show.
Yeah, and Lily is like, well, I'm a little concerned after that drop that you're not going to be able to do it. So I'm just going to take the role from you. And she's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they get into a fight. And she does this creepy thing with her neck. Where she's yeah. She like extends it. And then smashes her into a mirror.
Yeah.
And then...
A mirror.
A mirror. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. When you definitely first see it, you really have no idea what's actually happening, but I love how you don't know. I love the ambiguity behind it.
Yes. So
and
she kills her. She stuffs the body in
Lily.
a bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well, moving on. And then she keeps dancing.
Gotta go on with my life. Yeah.
Right.
Does an incredible performance.
The way like she'll like move to the camera and like her red eyes will just open straight into the lens. It was just like crazy, like pretty haunting stuff. But I love that.
Oh, definitely. I loved it. Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
And just like her, we haven't really talked about how fucking much, like how good she is in this. Because I was just watching like the way she was like kind of hyping herself to like go on stage as the Black Swan.
My first note for like under overall thoughts was like Natalie Portman is incredible.
Yeah.
Like this role is so incredible.
Good. And she's so good.
Yeah. It's like she did such an incredible job. So it was so believable the whole time. But yeah, so we end up finding out that because like Lily later on comes to the door. He's like, hey, just want to tell you did a really good job. And she's like, but you're dead in my bathroom. She goes to check the bathroom. No one's there. She didn't kill anybody.
There's no blood. Yeah.
And then she realized she did stab someone.
Well, herself.
She stabbed herself. And she's now getting ready for her back to the White Swan performance.
Yeah.
And she's like looking down and her whole like outfit's getting red because she's bleeding.
Bleeding Yeah.
So and this is another moment where you're like, is this really happening, or is it just her making things up?
I think at this
crazy.
to this point, I believe she really did. Like, definitely more believable for me in the movie that she stabbed herself.
Well, yeah, but and then another part where I was like, okay, is this really happening, or like, is this just in her head? Well, obviously this one was like just in her head. The part when she's doing the Black Swan performance and she has the wings growing out of her arms.
Oh yeah.
And then by the end, when she like ends the dance, the wings aren't there, but the shadow behind her, they're there.
Yeah.
So like I was like, whoa. So again, it adds to that, like, is this really happening, or is it all in her head?
Yeah, definitely.
So it was really cool. Like that shot was awesome. I loved that.
Dude, like, and then the shot of her like bowing down to the crowd, just like,
yes,
good, so good,
so good.
And then then that's when she kissed him, and I was like, okay,
creep. But yeah, so then she goes on, she does her last performance, like the ending scene of it, and then the final scene, like the final scene is her killing herself, which is like the story of
the Swan Lake, right? But
yeah.
Something I didn't notice the first time I watched it was I loved how the last person that she looked at before she jumped off was her mom.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting. I didn't even notice that before.
And the fear in her mom's eyes, almost like she knew.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
What's that about?
What's that about? I don't know. So then she jumps off. The shot of her falling to the ground, crazy good.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. And then
so good.
She lands, and then like you were saying, like she realized she's bleeding to death.
Yeah, well,
basically.
Yeah, so like everyone crowds around her, and it was like, you did incredible. Like all those cheers are for you. He calls her the little princess, which was like a big thing.
Yeah,
he would call
call Beth that, and then Lily was like, princess. You don't think he's gonna start calling you little princess too, right? And she's like, no, I don't think, like, that's something that's just for Beth. Like, he's not.
Yeah,
he didn't just call everyone that.
Which it's very clear that he's just he's done this several times with other ballerinas. Yeah, so
100%.
But then everyone is like, okay, wait, hold on. She's bleeding.
Right.
She's dying.
She is. Yeah.
And then her last words was like, I felt it. Like, I was perfect.
Yeah.
And because she finally like was able to break into that Black Swan role.
Yeah.
And she was able to let go.
That's all she like was striving for. Like that's what she said during the movie. She's like, I just want to be perfect. Like that was her ultimate thing.
And she did it. She became perfect, and then she killed herself.
Yeah, or did she?
Well, or attempted to? I don't.
Well, okay.
Because they kind of leave that they end it there, so they leave it up to.
Well, okay. So here's the theory I have about that I read into a little bit. Okay. So I noticed that blood wound she had was placed around like her, woman parts, right? Like she was
her uterus.
Sure. Like but basically, I just didn't want to misspeak. She looked like she was on her period, right? And Aronofsky said that was intentional because it's like her transformation to a woman, her transition. And then Natalie Portman said because of that, she feels like Nina did not die, but rather that was her completing her transition from a child to a mature woman, like killing her inner child to now being like a mature woman. Which I kind of like the idea of that. And I don't know where I fully stand, but I kind of don't think she killed her. I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I feel like if so much of this movie was metaphorical, why wouldn't the ending be too?
Yeah, see, that's why I assume that she died, because at the end of Swan Lake, the swan kills herself.
Oh, right.
So the whole movie is just mirrored that story.
Well, technically, she killed her inner child. But so she lives on as a woman.
She did kill the white swan. The white swan did die.
But maybe the black swan lives on.
Oh my god. Look at us figuring it out.
Look at us. Come on, man. This is what you get for being a film student for like 2 semesters or something. I don't know how long it was.
Okay, that makes sense.
But there was just so much I was reflecting on when this ended, and I was just wondering how much of this, I guess you kind of noticed as well. Like we've talked about, I love the way color is used in this movie. Like first she starts off wearing all white and pink, like symbolizing her innocence and purity. Then she goes to gray, which is like, to me, it's just kind of like a neutral color. So like she's still like discovering herself, but she's not really there yet in terms of being.
She's slowly transitioning between
Yeah, like she's figuring
light and
herself
dark,
out.
Yeah.
And then she's just wearing all black. It's like bold, like confident, just darkness. And then there's scenes, like I said, where she's wearing all three, which to me just showed like her state of
The
confusion,
confusion,
or
yeah.
lack of identity, things like that. And then like we were talking about the idea of all the reflections. Like I said, like we would say, she would always kind of project her own, I guess, issues, or like she would always see everyone around her as her
Yeah.
enemy. And even gets to the point, because we're seeing it through her eyes, that we watching it might start to believe that those people actually are like the antagonists, when in reality she herself is the antagonist. And like we said, the mirrors show, I'm going on, I'm getting somewhere.
Shows something.
It shows something. No, I think it shows that like she's truly like the Black Swan, and like it's inside her all along.
Yes.
And then, as we were saying, she stabbed herself with the mirror. I think it's added on by the fact that she stabbed herself with the piece of a mirror.
A mirror. Wow.
Come on, man.
Wowza.
So that's what I think. Yeah, I just think there's a lot to sit through here. Obviously, like I just kind of wonder. I don't know, when you got through like all the ending, like what was your even, like what were you even thinking when that ended?
I was like, wow. What just happened? So I had to take a second to like really like sit through it and think like, okay, let me think about just like what just happened, what went down here.
Yeah.
And then I like kind of read through my notes a little bit to just kind of like make it a little bit more clear, like any symbolism that was going on. And then from there I was like able to like make those connections of like, okay, so this obviously meant that might have meant that, but like I just thought it was really good.
Yeah.
It was just so good. So I mean, overall thoughts of the movie is just like,
Yeah.
well, I had never actually heard the story of of Swan Lake.
Oh, I
I
don't
really
know
didn't-
anything about it.
I didn't know anything about it until this, and I was like, damn, this is sad.
Yeah.
So like that's sad, and then it just, I don't know, it just did a really good job of, I guess, like telling that
honestly kind of a
story with
tragic
dark
story. Yeah.
Yeah, with this sense of darkness, and you just kind of feel like after watching it, you're almost like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because it was so dark and it was sad.
Like even though at the
But
end, like she
also-
gets like she becomes like the like
She
her
transforms.
she transforms, and her idea of perfection, like she gets it, but it's kind of like at what cost?
I just made a connection. Maybe that's
What's
why
that?
her mom looked terrified. She knew, she was like, this is her last moment as like this innocent girl, 'cause she's killed her off. And this new Swan has emerged. Maybe that's why the mom looks so terrified, because she's like so attached to the idea of her daughter being this sweet innocent girl.
Yeah. That really.
But that's just a theory.
It's
A film theory.
We should make like a little jingle to that whenever we talk about when we talk out of our ass about anything that might happen.
Can we
during the
just
movie.
steal the film theorists one?
Oh, is that like an actual jingle?
Yeah,
you
that's
just-
an actual. Yeah, that's he does this whole. You've never heard of him? He's on YouTube. He's
I
called the
haven't- I
Film
don't-
Theorist. You should check him out. He's actually really funny.
Okay.
He makes a lot of good theories and stuff. And he does like gaming too.
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
movies. So yeah, he's cool. I like him. But
okay. My bad.
yeah, he's like that's just a theory, a film theory.
Oh, okay.
So like
Makes
that's his
sense.
tagline.
Got you.
But yeah, I overall I loved this movie. I thought it was really good, and I really want to see it again. I definitely want to look into the theories more. I want to watch some videos and do some research on that, because
definitely.
I didn't do that coming into it. I kind of wanted to just do it of like
Yeah, I know,
my
that's
thoughts
cool.
based off watching it. So
That's why I was definitely like really interested to see what your perspective was of it, like just off first viewing. I really enjoyed this, just like I did the first time. I don't know, I was just really like compelled by this all the way through. Just like, I don't know, like I said with like Whiplash, like I just love stories of like people that, like how far they're willing to go to lose themselves and to succeed in something that like they're clearly passionate in. Like how far are they gonna go? And like I love seeing that explored, especially from this perspective of like psychological horror, which I thought was just a really cool way to do it. Obviously, like Natalie Portman, fucking great. Like
Incredible.
every step of the way, regardless of wherever her character is, like she's believable. Like just with the way she speaks, moves, communicates, like even when she's not speaking, the way she communicates what she's going through, and then the way she just is able to pull off the confidence when she's dancing and when she's a black swan. It's crazy, like how much she commit herself to this. So like, I mean, yeah, to win an Oscar, I mean, yeah, give it to her. Like, I got no problem with that. However, I don't want to overlook the supporting roles here. So Vincent Cassel was Thomas. I thought he was great. You know, creepy, abusive, manipulative.
Very believable. Yeah.
Very believable in that, but also still clearly very talented and knowledgeable.
Yes.
And so it makes you think like, oh, he has methods, but obviously those methods are terrible for these women. You know, but he plays that important part. Mila Kunis, honestly, I think this is probably my favorite performance that I've seen of hers.
She did a great job.
She does. I would love to see her.
You didn't love her in That 70s Show?
I mean, that's like close second, and then Bad Moms like third. You know what I mean?
Oh, Bad Moms. No, that goes her best performance by far.
Anyway, as much as I love her,
Bad Moms Christmas, actually.
I have not seen Christmas. You know what's crazy? I've been waiting every Christmas to watch it, and then I just never do. So
forget.
I just keep forgetting. So maybe Christmas 2021. Fingers crossed.
There you go.
No, I thought she was great in this. Like she was definitely a great sign of rebellion against Nina and drawing her to that side. I thought she did great. And then Barbara Hershey was her mom, and Winona Ryder Beth. They both play key roles, and I thought they both were great too. So yeah, I would say the reason why I probably wouldn't give this, we'll reveal our scores in a second, but I think I'll say it's not the highest score I can give it because I think maybe the personal or emotional connection isn't always there, at least to me for this. Like it's not a movie that for me I like hold so close to my heart or anything like that, just because of that. But like filmmaking wise and like telling the story, it's just like I was hooked. Like how much there was there, like visually and like telling her story. Like it was great.
Thank you for explaining that because I had the same thought. I just couldn't put it into words.
Oh, okay,
like
cool.
I couldn't explain why it wasn't like because it's a great movie,
right?
Like it is incredibly made. The acting is just amazing, but I couldn't figure out why I couldn't give it that like 10 out of 10 or like
right.
You know,
got you.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So do you want to go ahead?
We might be on the same boat here with our ratings. I'll go first. I'm gonna give Black Swan a very high 8 out of 10.
I was also gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Let's go.
Look at us. There you go.
Nice. Yeah. I don't know. I watched it the first time, and I was like, this is a really high 8 for me. Maybe I'll go to a 9 when I watch it. And then I watched it. I honestly felt like the exact same way as I did the first time, so I couldn't quite get it there. But like, really, really great movie, and like. Obviously, like, too, I'm really curious to see what you would think on a rewatch because I feel like even though my feelings towards it were about the same, I think narratively I got a lot more out of it watching it the second time. So I'll be very curious what do you think. And I definitely want to see a lot more of Aronofsky's work. I know Requiem of a Dream is the one that a lot of people talk about.
Yes.
And I think that one's on HBO now, so I definitely want to check that out soon. And
okay.
After Mother, I don't think he's announced anything he's doing. I don't know if he's working on anything right now. But I mean, Mother's a different experience.
I feel like to make stories like this, it's gotta be like a very long process. Like, I don't think he could just one after the other.
I say that
movies.
I could be wrong about this. I swear I read that he wrote the Mother screenplay like 3 days.
Or maybe
he wrote it in 5 days, much faster than his usual pace. Yeah, so
Jesus.
I would assume that he takes his time into crafting these stories. But also I will note he didn't write Black Swan, but he did write Mother. So I don't know if Mother was his first. I'm sure it wasn't his first movie that he wrote, but I know it was probably different because he didn't write it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just trying to see real quick if he's actually like working on something because this is the guy I want to look out for.
Pretty talented guy.
Well. It's producer, TV movie. Okay, yeah. I don't see any. Oh, wait. That's producing credits. Duh. That's why. He's in... Oh, his next movie is called The Whale. It's an A24 movie, and it's starring Brendan Fraser.
I do
remember reading about that now. I remember that now. I forgot about that. Huh. Okay.
Very cool.
That's very cool. So he's working on... That's his next movie.
That.
So we'll check that out. But yeah, those are our final thoughts on Black Swan. I thought it was so cool that you got to watch a movie fresh for the first time.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
The last major thing we need to do is we need to both blind watch a movie.
Oh yeah, we gotta find one.
Gotta do that.
I'm sure
I'm sure there's many out there, for sure.
Well, my brother just suggested one, which is one of the ones I told you about.
Oh yeah, you did give me some that we haven't even heard of, so definitely can check out movies like that down the road.
Maybe we'll get one soon in the future, but maybe we'll do it. I don't know. But yeah, so
at least for next week. Yes.
Yeah.
At least for next week, though, this is a movie that both of us have seen. Martha adores this thing.
I can't believe I forgot to add this to my list of top 10 movies because, like, not even honorable mentions. This belongs on the top 10 list. I don't know where I would place it.
High praise.
I love this movie. From the very first time I saw it, I was like, this is one of my favorites.
Okay, girl, save it for the episode. Save it for the episode. All right, don't get too excited.
Okay, yeah. I'm just so excited.
Anyways, we are talking about next week.
We're going to be watching Begin Again.
Yes.
Mark Ruffalo, Keira Knightley.
Yes.
Love it.
So definitely a movie that you will not want to miss. It is streaming on multiple free platforms, actually. You don't need to pay for anything. They are like ad supported, so you might get ads while you're watching them, but it's completely free. So some of the ones that it's on right now, Tubi, Pluto TV, and on Vudu. I've used all of them. I think they all work really well. So whichever one you want to use, it's all on there. You can watch it for free. So no excuses. Okay?
Yeah.
Y'all better be prepared for next week.
Prepared.
And hopefully we'll be able to talk about this one in studio.
Yes,
but,
hopefully.
Knowing our luck, we'll you'll never know.
Be back here.
Be back. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please come back. We are on all audio streaming platforms. So wherever you listen to your music, your podcasts, we're on there. Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Inner Wider Screen. Those are our social medias. So you can we'll keep y'all posted with the new movies, new episodes that we're going to be talking about on there. Interact with us, and if you liked an episode, let us know. Let us know your thoughts. We are so excited to reach out with those who are a huge loyal fan base. Thank you so much.
Yes, we gotta come up with a name for our fan base for like those like 5 people.
Yeah, what are we called?
Come up with one.
We'll think about it. I don't want to rush into that decision making. It's a very
screeners.
The screener. All right.
Well, it's a work in progress. We'll think about it.
Work in progress name. We'll update y'all officially on our social medias maybe once we figure that out. And then finally, don't forget, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Inner Wider Screen. Make sure to like, comment, do all that kind of stuff.
Look at our beautiful faces.
Yes, if you want to see like our faces there, I've tried to do
my wonderful outfits that go with every movie.
Oh yes, she's really into the theming here. I'm just like, what shirt do I feel comfortable in today? And I just
you always got the backgrounds on Zoom.
Oh, I have the background, and I thought I would at least wear gray, because like I didn't know if I want to do white or black. So I was like, let me go in the middle.
I like it.
Neutral, like Natalie.
I see. I'll give it to you. Good job.
Thank you. Do I get something for that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, and also I started trying to do something new with the episodes as of late. I tried like editing footage from the movie into our episodes, so you can kind of get a visual of what we're talking about in the moment.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to like really take the time to appreciate that, go for it. It's on YouTube right now. Get into it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have for y'all today.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching us. You guys are awesome. We love you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You just turned British.
Am I?
You were like, have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay. Well.
All right. That's it.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.